Hello everyone and welcome back to Donut Like Donut Read. I am Julius and with me today I have Adam.
At your service.
And Clemens.
Ooh, I'm a ghost.
Ooh. Yeah, it's the spooky month. And I thought, why not do something special for this season? So I came up with, I guess, a special video format, and I call this Beyond Disbelief, Serious or Sham. So we have covered some bad spooky stories before, and with not only spooky stories but like with bad fanfic in general, one of the big problems is finding out what was actually meant to be serious and what is just a troll fic. Because we generally we like to do stories that aren't bad on purpose, but sometimes the lines can be blurred. And today we're trying to find out if you, the viewer, and if Adam and Clemens can discern real bad creepypastas from fake bad creepypastas. So we're gonna riff on 4 creepypastas today, and 3 of them are straight from the Trollpasta wiki, from the bad creepypasta category, so they were deemed to be serious attempts at creepypastas by the moderators, and 1 is made up by me.
Alright.
So, this is your once-in-a-lifetime chance. You can contact one author, and that author is Julius. Not the other authors, but him. Use that power wisely.
We're gonna reveal the fake one at the end, and if you want, you can write your guesses in the comments before that. Obviously not after that, but like, you wouldn't do that because why would you? That would be lame. You wouldn't gain anything.
Alright. Well, I guess this first one is the one I was going to be covering. It's called Pingu Starts a Riot by The World of Henry. And I let them know before we started reading this, I knew who Pingu was, but I didn't know anything about Pingu. So I'm going into this one double blind.
It's basically it's silent comedy. I guess not silent. They do talk, but they talk in gibberish.
Yeah. Is it like Animal Crossing where the animals just kind of mumble at you all the time? Or...
Yeah, kind of.
Okay. Well, I'm familiar with that, so let's see if that helps. Okay. So Pingu Starts a Riot by The World of Henry. Have you ever heard of underground short films? If you don't know what they are, then let me give you a simple summary of what they are. They're black and white adult animated short films parodying other media. Personally, I think that they're just made for the purpose of disturbing people.
I mean, sometimes they are.
Have you ever heard of Donut Like Donut Read? They are adult audio recorded short riffs meant to disturb people.
We've definitely read some disturbing stories on the channel so far, so that's fair. They're black. It doesn't parodying like even like the way they describe it doesn't make it seem like something that would disturb somebody. That just seems like, oh, they're black and white short animated film. That doesn't mean it's disturbing. It means it's stylized.
Have you ever heard of the disturbing show Robot Chicken? Scarier than any creepypasta.
I used to watch that all the time. Ever heard of Bring Me the Head of Charlie Brown? Whoa. Well, and a underground short film was made with a very similar concept involving around Pingu named Pingu Starts a Riot. It was only seen at a Swiss film festival in 1997 and was never seen again, possibly due to copyright from Schweizer Fernsehen?
Schweizer Fernsehen, close enough.
Okay, yeah. Forgive me, Americans can't pronounce things that are foreign. So...
I mean, usually people can't pronounce foreign languages, so it's okay.
Yeah. It depends. Almost like... Yeah. A friend of mine who lives in Switzerland sent me a copy of the short film, and here's information about it. The short film starts with the Pingu logo, with the words below the Pingu text saying, "Starts a riot." It then cuts to a scene of Pingo and Ping playing with a ball. Pingu then walks into the scene, saying in Penguinese, as usual, if he can play with the ball... So, he can play with the ball. Pingu and Ping refused and continued playing. It then showed a time card saying, 2 minutes later, and it showed another scene of Pingo and Ping playing with the ball. Pingu then walked into the scene, asking them kindly in Penguinese, but instead Pingo threw a ball at Pingu and it hit his face. Okay.
I like how we switched to present tense in one of the sentences.
Yeah, this is happening right now. Pingu lore is unfolding in front of us, boys and girls.
Yeah.
Pingu then screamed and shouted at them in Penguinese. He then pulled a knife and started chasing Pingo and Ping with it. That escalated quickly. Ping then went with Pingo and they left. Pingu then gave the middle finger at the... How? He's a penguin.
How? Yeah, he has flippers. How would that work?
The characters have fingers? Like, I don't know.
No.
So he gave him the feather.
They're flippers.
While shouting, it then showed another time card which said, "The next day." It then showed a scene of Pingu getting up from bed and going outside.
Yeah. If this is the fake one, it's Julius making a Your Mooney reference with everything being suddenly back to normal.
It then showed Pingu's friends, Pingo, Ping, Robbie, and Pingy. One of those names really sticks out. In front of Pingu, laughing and making stupid...
He's a seal.
He's a seal?
Yeah.
Okay. That's a totally normal seal name, I guess. Laughing and making stupid faces at him, which resulted in Pingu pulling out a machine gun and shooting Pingo and Ping while blood splattered everywhere. This doesn't sound like a riot anymore. Like...
I mean, it never sounded like a riot. That usually involves like more people. This is just a rampage.
This is to a
also,
riot.
About the name. It's a play on the German word for seal. Just so you're aware.
Okay. Yeah, this is to a riot what the first chapter of Zane's Cooking was to bullying. Where it's not a riot, it's just straight up murder. Pingy then started screaming and Pingu threw a bomb at her, which blew her up into bloody bits. Robbie then started crying and Pingu went with him back inside into the kitchen. Okay.
Why would you go inside with the guy who just murdered some people? Robbie, what is wrong with you?
Pingu then opened the fridge and started slamming the fridge door on Robbie's right flipper, while Robbie was screaming and crying in agony. After much slamming, blood started to come out of Robbie's right flipper. Pingu then proceeded to grab a flamethrower and burn Robbie, which resulted in him rolling around the entire house screaming and setting Pingu's family and the house on fire. Pingu then
so you're aware, Pingu lives in an igloo.
Yeah. You know those igloos, totally flammable.
Flammable igloo.
Yeah, maybe the ice was made of frozen gasoline, apparently.
Yeah.
Pingu then went outside laughing, and the house exploded, blood, guts, and body parts and bones flying everywhere. It then cut to a shot of Antarctica, where smoke started to cover up the sky. It then cut to the Simpsons house, where it showed Homer eating a ton of donuts in the front room. What? Pingu then...
Naturally.
Yeah, Pingu and The Simpsons are in the same universe, but you just don't notice because...
Canonically.
One show takes place in the US and another in Antarctica, so they never interact.
Yeah, there's a it reminds me of the episode of South Park where they kept talking about how every story that's ever been made, Simpsons has already done it. I guess Simpsons already did Creepypasta, and this was it. Pingu then broke into the house and started strangling Homer with his flippers. How? Okay.
Very carefully.
Very carefully. Homer was screaming in agony, and then Pingu shot him in the mouth. Marge then went into the scene crying over the fact that her husband was dead. Pingu then started to pull her hair. He was pulling and pulling into it to the point where Marge was screaming loudly. Eventually, her hair came out and it showed lots of blood coming out. Pingu then started beating her up with a baseball bat repeatedly. How do you beat somebody with a bat repeatedly? Like, you hit them with a bat repeatedly. Beating is the entire action of beating somebody with a baseball bat. I'm overthinking it. With blood and brains splattering and some of it even getting onto the camera. It then showed a graphic montage of Pingu killing people in horrifying ways that I don't even want to describe. Well, why stop now? You already described everything else. After a while, it showed a post-apocalyptic Antarctica with fire, smoke in the sky, and dead bodies everywhere. Wait, were the Simpsons in Antarctica?
I guess maybe that's the side plot where they moved to Antarctica because the house was cheap.
It then
I just bought us some nice real estate.
I'm sure
this is Antarctica.
I'm sure that actually happened in an episode of The Simpsons. There are so many Simpsons episodes that there's no way that hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, it probably did.
If it hasn't happened yet, I mean, that's a good for next season, you know? Smoke, and okay, so it then showed Pingu walking into the scene with a knapsack while a distorted and low-pitched version of the Pingu dance played. A circle then formed around Pingu, the Pingu logo faded in, and Pingu looked at the screen and gave a middle finger. The shot then froze, with the reel's picture dissolving into static. The reel then cut off after 5 seconds of static. Upon asking my Swiss friend for more information about the short, he said that a crazed psychopath who killed 500 children made it. What? Wait. That sounds like a more important story here.
No, it was just a riot.
It was a riot. Just killed 500 children in a riot. Made it to insult Pingu fans, both old and new. After knowing about that, I felt confused. Yeah, that's legitimate. Why would someone who ran the festival even approve of a psychopath's work? Unfortunately...
More importantly, why would they approve something that's basically a fan animation of something copyrighted?
No, you see, this is parody, and parody is fair use, so... Shrug.
I guess.
Unfortunately, we may never know the answer to that question.
Wow.
Okay.
We may never know.
Yeah. This is more, instead of Pingu goes on a riot, it's more like Pingu tries to recreate The Night Santa Went Crazy, the Weird Al song. Just murders everyone in Antarctica.
Yeah. Yeah, really, really disappointing that Pingu doesn't actually start a riot in any sense of the word.
Yeah, no, not to get too religious here, but isn't the Bible predicting a riot, the second coming of Christ? With the end of the world, just typical riot stuff.
Are we gonna... Everyone, this is a public news announcement for all of our listeners. Make sure you get your machine guns and knives ready for the riot of the second coming.
Okay, on to our next story, which is called Peter Pan, Deleted Scene, by an unknown author. Hello, reader. If you know about Peter Pan, you probably know him as the boy who never grew up and takes children to Neverland. A fictional place that is not on the world map, but something you probably don't know about is the horrifying deleted scene it has to offer. Let me tell you about it. It was my birthday, and I was very excited. Suddenly, the doorbell rang. Is that the right... Anyway, I opened the door, but all I saw was the FedEx driver driving away.
Sounds about like my experience with postal services.
Yeah.
I mean, they have horrible pay, so I can walk down the stairs to get my package. I respect the common man.
I think I heard him say, "Glad that's off my hands." I looked down, there was a box. It said, "Happy birthday." How nice! I opened up the box and there was a DVD called Peter Pan, Deleted Scenes. There was a yellow sticker on the DVD saying, "Special order." I got some popcorn and watched it.
Now, why would you order, like, a DVD with just the deleted scenes?
Well, he did... I don't even think he...
Maybe he didn't order it,
I don't even think he ordered it. I think he just... Like, someone had to... Like, if he did, it wouldn't have said happy birthday. Someone sent this to him. Some unknown person, I guess.
Yeah. He seems excited, though. He got popcorn for it.
We don't really even know what version of the movie this is. It just says Peter Pan deleted scenes. Is this the Disney version? Is this a live action adaptation? Like, what is this even?
I would assume it's the animated version because it's probably, of all the movie versions, it's probably the one that's most recognizable. Like,
yeah, probably.
Peter Pan has had a lot of movies made, like live action movies, but most of them are forgotten about because they weren't that good. So
yeah. There were many deleted scenes, like animatics, live action scenes, and others.
What?
But
okay,
one
maybe
that
it was
caught
live action.
But maybe some kind of reference shot, who knows? But one that caught my eye was the Captain Hook fight scene. I watched it, and it showed Captain Hook hanging on the side of his pirate ship. Peter tried to find a way to get him to fall into the ocean and get eaten by the crocodile. He looked around and saw an axe on deck. "Peter, what are you doing?" asked Tinkerbell, worried. "Don't worry, Tink, I got this," said Peter. He raised his axe, took a deep breath, and... chop! Captain Hook's arm took a nosedive into the deep, dark water, followed by a loud splash.
His arm took the nosedive? That's a weird way of describing it.
Yeah, well, it's some weird kind of deformity. Yes, he has a nose on his arm.
Yeah, you have a nose on your arm so you can smell your food without bending down. It's a really nice upgrade.
Arms 2.0, the nose edition.
Yeah, for people with horrible back pain, so they don't have to bend over so much.
Yeah.
Hook couldn't hold on. The pain was too much to bear. He let go and plunged into the vast ocean. The crocodile got startled and swam quickly towards Hook, making ticking sounds as he darted towards him. The crocodile lunged at Hook, closing his razor-sharp jaws in his throat, waggling around his jaws to make it hurt more, tearing his skin as it did so. Hook screamed in agony as his neck was getting teared apart. His legs getting stabbed with the crocodile's teeth freakishly as he struggled to escape, and his liver getting dissected from his body.
This is liver.
As he screamed and wailed. For some reason now I have to think of that Mario meme. "I'm coming for your liver." I hate you! He screamed right before he finally became a stinky heap of dead skin, meat-cased bones and organs. The crocodile ate the rest of him with one snap of his jaw. He was satisfied with his tasty lunch. Then the clip ended. I had never been so scared and disgusted in my life. But conveniently, all of my friends came to the door at that moment. They were ready for the party. I decided to start the party to take my mind off it, though it still haunts my nightmares.
And when one of his friends leaned over to him, whispered in his ear, "This party is gonna be a riot."
Oh no!
Loot, motherfucker.
Okay, next up we have Closed Closet Theory by Toddworld99.
That would be Chloe. Chloe's closet theory.
Yeah, Chloe's closet.
Yeah. Let me start this off with a confession. Yes, I am a fan of Chloe's closet, and no, I'm not ashamed of it.
Hey, have either of you seen Chloe's closet? 'Cause I don't know what this is. It's okay, just curious.
I think it was... Well, it was for, little children. I had to look this up, but it's like a British children's cartoon.
Okay.
Where they go to different dream worlds through a closet. Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. I was just curious.
I know what you guys are probably thinking right now. Why would you watch a show made for literal babies as an adult? Well, as strange as it may sound, I always liked the idea of having adventures in an imaginary world. Plus the show has good characters as well as good morals, which is something not all children's shows can claim to have. I'm looking at you, Caillou.
Ooh, called out. I mean, they're not wrong. Caillou's garbage.
Yeah,
but...
they're really not wrong.
Oh, I got a text notification. My Caillou stock is completely worthless now. I'm gonna lose the house. Why did I buy stocks in a children's cartoon?
Why did I buy
it seems like you're grounded now. You're grounded.
But my favorite thing about the show has always been Lovely Carrots. I just think he's adorable, the way he always worries for Chloe's safety. Anyway, I wish I could keep telling you about how surprisingly good the show was, but unfortunately, my whole view on it has changed rather dramatically recently. As it turned out, there's a dark secret behind the show's happy and bubbly appearance. Ever wondered how it could be that Chloe and her friends can go on these big adventures when it's actually all in their heads, yet they all experience it in the exact same way? Well, as it turns out, there's a logical explanation for this, but I'm afraid it's not pretty. It all started with my best friend, who is an even bigger fan of the show than I am. I mean, she has binged all of the episodes and she even owns a big collection of merchandise, including a super cute plush version of Lovely Carrots. But one day she sent me a strange email that said,
also, I just gotta interject, I love that there's a character in this show called Lovely Carrots. What a great name for a character.
That's such a British name, too. I don't know. Something about that just sounds incredibly British.
Oh my gosh, Thomas, you have to check this out. So freaky. And then a link. I clicked the link and it led to an archived article from a local newspaper in the United Kingdom. The article talked about a girl named Chloe Corvus, which was already weirded me out, as it was really close to Chloe Corbin, Chloe's full name from the show.
That's not that weird. Like, people can have all sorts of names just because there's a few letters different. It's not very surprising. This author is very sensitive.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what our viewers don't know, that if they check the local newspaper in New Jersey, they will find a guy named Donut Like who died under mysterious circumstances, but our viewers can never find out.
The Donut Like Donut Read theory.
Please send us all your donut read theories, by the way. We will happily review them.
Yeah, it's really weird. Apparently he died from a bat bite.
I read the whole thing and it sent shivers down my spine. I am now going to summarize the article for you. Hey, is that legal? Do you have permission from the...
the totally real newspaper that wrote this totally real article?
At least cite your source. Chloe Corvus lived in the 1970s in Wales, which is also where Chloe is from. The show is from. She was unfortunately born with a severe brain condition, which made it so that she couldn't live life normally. Her parents hated her for this, because she would never be able to live on her own, let alone have a career. So they would be physically and emotionally abusive to Chloe on a regular basis. Due to her brain condition, Chloe would experience severe delusions, often seeing things or persons that weren't really there. And
I think you meant severe delusions.
Yeah, you're right. And how does the newspaper know this?
I mean, this shit was already done in the... I mean, this shit is done all the time in, like, these dumb kids shows. Actually has a dark secret theories. They also did it in the My Little Pony theory. The one that was adapted in Fate.
Yeah. This also sounds a lot like the My Little Pony backstory for Princess Celestia and Angst Much. It's already kind of sounded like that.
One of these delusions was that her duck napkin, Lovely Carrots, was alive and was trying to protect her from her parents' abuse. Hence why Lovely Carrots in the show is so overprotective of Chloe. But it didn't stop there. Soon she would hallucinate a whole friend group, likely as a way to cope with how lonely she was in reality. This imaginary friend group was made up of other kids her age, like James, Tara, and Riley. Okay, that creeped me out because my younger niece is called Tara.
Uh-oh.
Oh god.
Are you in the Chloe's Closet universe, Clemens? Oh, Chloe's Closet, Clemens, they all start with like a CL or CH.
Closet.
Well, Chloe's CHL, like same difference.
Yeah.
At first, she would just play with these imaginary friends in her room, but as her delusions grew worse, she started to imagine these surreal adventures in fantastical places, full of colorful characters and weird landscapes. A world where anything was possible and that represented her idealized view of the world. Because of this fact, the creatures in this world were generally nice, which was in contrast to her real life, where she was always being treated badly. She also started to believe that the big closet in her room was an actual portal to that very fantasy world she created in her head.
I mean, at least she doesn't believe that screens are portals to another dimensions.
One day, her parents got really drunk and they decided to get rid of her. They killed her by hitting her over the head with a chair. After that, they hid her body in the closet in hopes that the police wouldn't find it.
Oh, no.
Of course, they were really sloppy, and when the neighbors alerted the police due to the noise, they immediately confessed everything, since they knew that all evidence pointed towards them. They were sobering up by that point, so that probably played a part.
The newspaper, of course, also knew this. I guess they asked them.
The strange part was when the police checked inside the closet, there was nothing in there, even though the parents were absolutely sure that was where they dumped her. Even after a long search party that covered the whole neighborhood, they didn't find any remains of Chloe's body. So if you need to run away from your abusive parents, leave the neighborhood. They won't search outside.
Yeah. And no one ever leaves their neighborhood. That's why we can't actually have a meetup, because I can't leave where I live. You guys can't leave Germany. You know, we're all stuck.
Yeah.
We can only leave Germany if you find the strange hut and go to the city of Sega.
Now that just begs the question, where did the body go? I actually have my own crack theory on this, and I know that it probably makes no sense, but here we go. What if Chloe was actually right about the closet being a portal? What if after her death she actually went into her dream world for real?
I mean, it's plausible.
Anyway, I have no idea how the creators of Chloe's Closet got wind of the story, but I think it's undeniable that it inspired the events and concept of the show. The parallels are just too uncanny to be a coincidence. What do you guys think of this? Regardless, I am now unable to watch Chloe's Closet the way I did ever again. Yeah, so if the police found no body and the parents were really drunk, wouldn't they think that maybe they didn't kill her because there's no evidence supporting that? Or did they find the blood on the chair?
There's too many unanswered questions.
Who knows? I mean, maybe she was right. Maybe the closet was a portal all along. She lives in Narnia now. Alright, we're on to our last creepypasta for today. And strap yourselves in. This one is really scary, like really, really scary. This is Colin the Frog, Banco del Occidente Lost Commercial by 24 Hour Fime.
That's time.
Or time,
that's
like the
kind of
like
herb.
the herb.
Yeah.
I remember. Wait, maybe I should read this in a more creepypasta appropriate voice.
Do it.
I remember that time on October 2014, the time where Over the Garden Wall begins. So I was watching all the episodes of Over the Garden Wall on my cousin's CRT TV. Some minutes later, I got bored and I decided to change the channel to Caracol TV. Then a commercial for Banco del Occidente had begun. It featured a cartoonish, in the Over the Garden Wall style, blue frog with a white Banco del Occidente icon on his belly at a realistic forest, and he was walking around saying "credencial" multiple times. And then he stopped doing that. Later, the frog found a toy piano and began using it and reenacting the same song as the frog played at the beginning of the movie Over the Garden Wall. Why are we finding connections to Over the Garden Wall? After that boring song, he found a bathing suit from a naked guy. As you do. Then he puts on the bathing suit and then swims. After a good 10 minutes of Colin swimming, he was under the water, drowning, screaming, and gasping for help. After 8 seconds, static appeared, It took a few minutes, the static, and then it returned to the commercial. But this time, Colin was on the ground, dead. Horrifying.
They used all
Colin's...
the font changes there. You the underline, the italics, and the bold to emphasize how dead this guy was.
Yeah, he really was dead as a frog. Colin's corpse looked hyper-realistic as the actor was torturing the poor frog. I mean, you can't really torture someone if they're dead. Then it showed the poor dead, bloated Colin seriously had been drowned, being stomped on by the same guy. Realistic blood flew into the screen. Then I vomited on the floor and peed my pants.
Okay, if the offer is so brave to tell the truth, I can admit that I was shitting and coming while we were recording this.
Wow.
And then the Grupo AVAL and its bank logos appeared on screen on the same blood. Then the jingle began playing, but instead of being played on a xylophone, it was played on a rock guitar. And the Super Financiera seal didn't appear, but instead it was a Super Salute seal. Oh no, not the Super Salute! Then a demonic voice said, Vigilado por Super Salute. Then the commercial ended and I went back to Cartoon Network. Thank goodness this commercial won't air anymore after October 2014.
Wow.
Yeah.
How do you know? Did you make the commercial?
Their dad works for whatever channel this showed on.
Yeah, a
My
good
dad works
commercial.
for Banco del Occidente.
A good commercial doesn't need to be enjoyable; it just needs to stick in your mind. So I think a good.
I mean,
good
if I saw
job.
this, it certainly would. So,
Yeah.
mission accomplished.
If I watched a commercial and I vomited and peed my pants at the same time while watching this commercial, I'm probably not going to forget the commercial. So, good advertisement.
Alright, so that was our lineup of creepypastas. Now to the big question. Could you decipher which one of them was serious and which one was a total sham?
So, like, you said that
guys,
three of
do you
these
wanna
were
give
normal
your
and one of these was
tips?
fake,
Yeah,
right?
three are normal, only one is fake.
Okay. Clemens, you want to go first on this, or...?
Yes, I'm just gonna preface it that with choosing, Julius picked the leftovers. So it's just a coincidence that I suspect both of the ones Julius read. Because in Peter Pan, there was this neat little detail of a guy getting popcorn to watch a lost episode, and that could be a reference to our first German special.
Oh, yeah.
but this Colin the Frog with 10 minutes of swimming, 8 seconds with exact time measurements, hyper-realistic forest, realistic blood, realistic actor. It sounds like a parody of a creepypasta. So.
Yeah, it does have quite a lot of the staples.
Yes, so my gut feeling is telling me Peter Pan that the popcorn is really the tail, but my mind says there are more points pointing towards Colin the Frog.
You have to choose one.
So I'm gonna go with Colin the Frog. Fuck my gut.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. So when we're reading these stories, I'm really looking at these, and I'm also. Have you guys ever seen Princess Bride?
No.
Okay. There's a scene. There's a famous scene in the Princess Bride movie and in the book where the Sicilian is trying to guess which cup is poisoned, has poisoned drink, and he's trying to guess based on the guy who possibly poisoned one of the drinks of if he's the kind of guy who put the poison in front of him or in front of himself or the guy choosing. And we're reading these stories, I'm trying to think, I feel like Julius is trying to be really tricky here and trying to confuse us into thinking kind of trying to like misdirect us into thinking one of these is real. So like initially when we were reading these, I feel like I thought like Pingu Starts a Riot sounded the most ridiculous out of all of these. I have reasons to believe I don't think it's Peter Pan or Colin the Frog personally, but I feel like Pingu Starts a Riot sounded so ridiculous. But then also Chloe's Closet sounded like a standard creepypasta, you know? It sounded like your standard creepypasta, and I'm thinking, maybe that was like, it sounds so normal as far as creepypastas go that maybe that was Julius trying to recreate that and putting that into, these stories, you know? But then Pingu Starts a Riot also sounds so ridiculous, but I'm like, I can also see why that would be put on the rejected creepypastas. So, man, it's one of those two for me. I'm gonna go with my gut instinct and say Pingu Starts a Riot, but yeah.
Alright, and dear viewers, this is, I guess, your last chance to make your guesses in the comments.
To give you a bit more time, we considered getting Jonathan Frakes, but his cameo was like $300, and while it would be amazing, it's just not worth it.
Did Pingu really start a riot, or were we just messing around? Well, Adam, I'm sorry to say you were almost there. Like, your guess with Chloe's Closet was really good, because that was the fake one.
Okay, damn. Yeah, I knew there was a good possibility. Because, no, to your credit, Julius, if someone had shown us that story, and they would have said, this was a creepypasta I found that we could read, I would have looked at it and said, yeah, this looks legitimate. It looks very standard, like the kind of stuff that they read in Fate, or the thing that in Drax is about, like, Celestia's history, you know? So, yeah.
Yeah, the main inspiration for that one was the My Little Pony theory. Also, I guess it has kind of a reference. I think when I wrote that line with Caillou in it, I'm not entirely sure, but I think I was subconsciously thinking of that Paw Patrol creepypasta. I think that might have also had like a dig on Caillou in it.
Oh yeah, I remember that now. I'm not sure which video, but yeah. Something.
I will say this though, Julius. The reason I figured it wasn't the Colin the Frog one is when you mispronounced time. I figured, I don't think he would have made up a name of something that he wouldn't know how to pronounce. I mean, unless you were playing a really complex mental game with us, you know? that was just my theory on that, why I didn't choose that one. But then that's just me trying to think, what would Julius do to throw us off?
Yeah.
This was fun, though. Right. I like this.
Yeah, maybe we can do this again next spooky month. We'll see. Well, anyways, guys, if you don't want to end up in Chloe's Closet, then don't contact any of the authors we cover, including the ones in the real stories. And of course, don't harass Toddworld99. He doesn't deserve it. He's a good guy. A bit misguided, but he's trying his best. Okay.
Yeah, but I am going to what do you say?
Don't check your local newspaper archive for your own name.
I am going to contact Julius, though. I'm going to write him a strongly worded letter about my disapproval of his creepypasta.
Yeah. Yeah, I truly put a stain on the Chloe's Closet fandom. Which of course, I knew a bit more about the show than I was letting on. Like, it was not within my prime time, but my sister watched it, so I kinda knew what was going on in there. But yeah. And oh yeah, we have a Discord channel where you can hang out with us. And if you have any good creepypasta or not non-creepy, but also nonetheless bad fanfic or media in general suggestions, you can put them in the Google form, also linked in the description. And all I can say is, if you do not like, then do not read.
Yeah. Have a spooky rest of October.
Bye!
I'm off to start a riot, boys.